Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing. Good mid-Sunday. Approaching the noon hour on this late November. Late autumn. Approaching the first day of winter. Old Vincenzo's favorite season. Coming after a dominating Michigan victory for the Fighting Jim Harbaughs and the Wolverines. Getting ready to take on the criminal gangster cartel, the Ohio State University, brother, that have infiltrated the trading markets to fleece, heist, and shice the retail trader. And Jim Harbaugh has a chance to take down the criminal gangsters in Ann Arbor on Saturday as the third-ranked Buckeyes and first in the Big Ten East take on the fifth-ranked Wolverines and second place in the Big Ten East for the Big Ten East Championship, right? To go play for the Big Ten Championship in Indianapolis and then play for the National Championship after you win the Big Ten title, right? So that's what's on the line. But we're going to get out ahead of these criminal gangsters and the market manipulators in the trading world right now. You can see back here, as I've been talking about diagnosing, sniffing out, and detecting, overting, and subverting you back here, if you remember, we diagnosed this rising wedge. It was a topping reversal pattern. You top down and you bottomed out and you hit lower support once, upper resistance twice, lower support twice. And this is right about in here during this pump in March. Nope, it hit here, right? It hit here and then it came down and hit your lower support for a third time. And old Vincenzo started coming on right about here as we were bouncing off this, as we were coming with this putrid pump, letting you know all in here that we were coming down and we were starting to form that rounding top. And I went over this extensively, how you were topping out here, right? And the reasons why we were topping out all in this rising wedge and how that was a bearish reversal pattern, right? We told you it was a topping pattern. Weren't that many people that followed me back then. But right about here when that Elon Musk and the Jeff Bezos on the Saturday Night Live hype train, we had the jabroni killer. Everyone thought Bitcoin and the Doge especially were going to do something spectacular, maybe come up to this orange ring right here. And we told you absolutely not. There was a huge flush coming as soon as Elon Musk took the stage. And that essentially popped the crypto bubble right back here. And then everything flushed. And old Vincenzo was all over this telling you we were coming down into the upper 20s. And then I thought we would have a bounce back that I was calling for, but I thought it would peter out right up in here. This is about where I thought it would start to turn back around, and then you would start to form that rounding top again and come down. It overshot like crypto likes to do. Got a little bit of a hype train going in. Hit a fabulous, glowing, gorgeous, all jabroni enticing double top back here. We actually broke the all-time high, which was different, and breaking the cycle of the last few. And that could be one or two things. This is ready to bounce out support. This is different than all the other cycles now, and this is going to skyrocket up to this orange ring at $91,000, like everyone on the internet is saying. Or this is telling you structurally this bear market is going to be much different on this cycle. And if you bounce up here and come back up to try to get back into this rising wedge, because you're on the bottom of it right now, we all know that, you know that, I know it, the markets know it, the computer trading softwares know it. If you bounce back up and come up into here and you come all the way up to 70 grand and leak out, what this is going to tell you is you have a long fall coming, and it's not going to be like last time where you've crashed and come back up. Maybe this time you never come back up, right? Or it takes a lot longer than a year and a half to bottom out like this, right, down into here, and then to shoot up and keep going in the fifth leg of the bull run, right? So we're going to watch out for that. But old Vincenzo has been calling for a November collapse. I'm not backing off of that in the face of a rising price. And we're starting to top out now up here as we approached early to mid-November. I actually called way back. I said November 12th would be the day the crash happened or started. And it's kind of funny because we topped out at November 9th, 10th, 11th, and then November 12th. It was a red candle. And ever since November 12th, we've come down about $5,000 to $8,000. Now we're trying to hold support, and this is very critical for anybody in crypto right now. And any of the altcoins, the Moon Rocket coin, the Cum coin, any of this other stuff, if you can't get back into here and you start to come down, this is your next underneath target, right? 50, $1,069. If you cannot gather support here, we're trying on this weekend to try to get support like we did back here and way back there, right? We got all kinds of support. And now if we break this rising wedge, the technical target fits in beautifully with the volume indicator in this green support box underneath. This is where all your volume's been traded, in this green support box. So there's a lot of buyers stacked there, and that is the technical target when you break out of this rising wedge, is you would trade down to here, the moving average, and this orange ring, and then you might get some support. Then the 50-day moving average in red would be trending down massively, and that would, as you get supported off of this, would get you rejected, and then you come down to the next leg down to the top of this green support box. Then you trade up maybe to the orange ring and get rejected, and then you trade back down, right? And then you break that eventually. So I think you got a lot to watch out for, as you can leak down here very quickly and then all the way down here in a blink of an eye. So we'll keep you on top of that with the Doge, or with the Bitcoin. Right, we're watching to see how this interacts as we zoom on in now. For this is the daily time frame, and now we're going to zoom on into the 2-hour time frame as we hit our Multa and Hashisha. No yayo. Old Vincenzo just smokes the Multa and Hashisha, right? Oh yeah, that's the good stuff right now. As we diagnose, sniff out, and detect the future market pattern, right? And you can see as we zoom on in, the reason we start from the far out time frame and work our way in is if you don't know where the price came from that we just looked at, seeing from the past, and to understand how the price is at the current time frame, you're not going to have a probability based, nor the TA, the knowledge, and the information to make an educated decision. So now as we zoom on in, this is that key area that we were just talking about in the rising wedge. This is your upper end potential. If you can break back into the wedge, you can see right now we dump below it, and we always look for the volume spike, right? When you break key levels like that, you look for big price action, which that really wasn't, and then you look for the volume spike, which there was a little bit. So that led me to believe, when we were looking at it the other day, to not think it was going to flush yet, and the buyers would come back in to try to force it up and back test it, which you can see it's doing beautifully. And now it's going to run into the moving average. And this is your critical spot. Does it fall back down out of there? And it would be a quick leak, and then you would double bottom, right, from right there the other day. And then you would slip down, and that's when you could slip, and you could have a, you know, from up here, from 60,000-ish down to where you're going, that's an $11,000 in Bitcoin flush, right? From where you're at now, say you trickle up a little bit more and hit the moving average at 61,318 and then flush. That's a 17% or nearly $11,000 Bitcoin loss on the way down to the next level. So that's what we're watching out for. And this is what you guys need to be watching out for as we wrap up the Bitcoin discussion right now, is if you're in the coin and you're trying to play the bull move, and what's been happening recently, you gather support, and then you trade up into here, get over the moving averages, and pop up to the upper end, way up there at the top of this rising wedge again, just like you did back there and back there more. If I zoom back out a little bit, but we've already went into that. That's your bullish scenario, right? The least likely, and I am not forecasting this to happen at current time. I do not think you're about to see a 23% or $13,000, $72,969 all-time high Bitcoin by the end of November. I do not believe that's happening, right? Now, what I do believe could happen is you get up into here over the moving averages and come back up here and then get rejected, trade back down, maybe trade back up, get rejected again, start slithering down, and then break that, and then come test a double bottom for back here on the November the 19th after the great to dump, right? And that could happen, right? This is, I think, as high as you're going to get if you pump back into here, because I think you're topping out, and I do not think you're touching an all-time high. I think you have to come down first, some at the very least, or a 50% flush from the high in November that we've been advertising, that we would pump up coming into the end of October, top out the beginning to mid-November, and flush starting around the 12th of November, because that was my birthday, right? And you can see on the 12th of November, as we are zoomed in now, the 10th we were flushing, and the 12th we were flushing, right? So it started out pretty good. And that's what to watch out for to get the bull action, right? So that's scenario one. The bear action we went over just now is you get rejected by all this overhead sell pressure. Because like you know, Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing, anytime the moving averages are all the 50, the 100, and the 200 are trending down, that's bearish, right? And we know that's bearish because when they're trending down, that acts as overhead resistance and forces the price down. So the bearish scenario now is you've been trying to get above here, run into these moving averages, and you can't hold it, and then you have a big fall off to start this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you end up very quickly down to that $50,000 price, and then the buyers could be there to come up, you know, and run into the moving average as the 200-day would be trending down like that, right? And then you would get rejected right in here and then continue down to that next underneath support that's down there. That's how that could work. There's your bullish and bearish options in a super simple, easy trading technical analysis, right? Sidestepping the criminal gangsters from Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing. I think that was phenomenal, TA. Check out some of the other videos so you kind of know where we've been coming from. The XRP people love, so I got to talk about it, right? And right now, we've been doing a phenomenal job on XRP. Let's clean this chart up real quick. Right, we got to clean the chart up. Make this hideous chart gorgeous, right? Get that. Oh, no, but that's why we're on the laptop. Control Z, motherfucker. That's how Control Z works, bitch. If you're on a laptop, Control Z is a lifesaver. Right? And you can see what we got going on here. And you say, well, it's just a bunch of random fucking nonsense, Vincenzo. Well, that's not true. All these lines are critical. They all play a big role in what's going on in the price of XRP, right? And the reason we have this green ring highlighted and we have an orange ring behind it that's not as highlighted is this green ring has been acting dominant. And you can see we have the volume indicator. We actually probably need to update that. We need to find out where that's at. Hold on a second. We need to get this to current time frame. I hate how this does this though. Hold on. Gotta find the bottom one. I think it's right there. Get all the way up now. There we go. Now we're at the current time frame. I haven't. You gotta. It only goes the current date when you do it. It doesn't go into the future for you. You gotta each day at the daily close extend it to get the updated volume in there. But you can see in XRP it hasn't really changed anything. Our major volume profile is still above the price, I believe, where the price is now. And that's bearish, right? When you're below that, you're bearish. When you're above that big key volume indicator, you're bullish, right? Not a lot of volumes. Essentially, in a super simple, easy way to show you this, or how important this is on a technical trading chart, is there's not a lot of trading up here. There weren't many buyers. So when the price was up there, it could fall all the way back down to that dollar mark real quick from the $2 because there wasn't a lot of volume traded from this recent pump. And then if you break below it, you can slip way down here to the bottom, not that far, to right about there at 92 cents. That's why you keep getting bought back up at 92 cents. See all the volume traded in here? It's sticking its nose out. It's like a tongue sticking out. You got a big gap there. The blues, the buyers, the yellows, the sellers, right? And you can see you got buyers there, right? So it can bounce back up. But then when it comes up, it runs into this heavy overhead sell pressure. See this big candle here right below the volume indicator of where the buyers are? Big red, or in here, in this case, orange, and that's sell pressure, so the price comes down, right? So that's why you look at the volume indicator. And then these green rings. You can see this same ring right here rejected the price. So when this pump was happening here, Vincenzo was 69.5 steps ahead of the competition in the YouTube sphere and across the technical analysis coins and a Bitcoin and the XRP especially, as when the price was down in here, we diagnosed, sniffed out, and detected this rising wedge. See that? You got your upper resistance, forms a dark peak, and then your lower support, right? And when we were up in here and rising, we were telling you, each ring was going to act as major resistance, and it did, but this was as high as you were going to get over here, and then the price was going to come down. And then it did. From that point, we came down to 92 cents, that key volume indicator profile back there that we just went up. And that's why we were saying after we broke out of this rising wedge down, we formed into this topping pattern, a descending triangle right off of it, right? Overhead resistance, horizontal support, and we had the technical target at 92 cents, and we wicked down to it. But we were telling you could pump up, one, because that volume indicator to the left in the chart that we got, and two, you fulfill the pattern so the buyers could come in and pump the price, and you often backtest the major upper resistance that used to be lower support, that white line right there, right? And then as soon as we broke up above that, we put out the top end potential of a fabulous, glowing, algebraic, enticing double top. We had to audible our play here. Yes, were we 100% right? No, because I thought it was going to 72 cents after this consolidation and rejection right there, that then you would come down to 72 cents. But we audibled on the fly, kept you 69 steps ahead of the competition when they were telling you right here you were coming way up there because the price of Bitcoin was going near 70,000. And we were telling you the reasons and the thesis why that the price of Bitcoin didn't matter directly to the price of XRP as Bitcoin rised for another 2 weeks, as XRP fell for another 2 weeks, the exact opposite of Bitcoin. And then when we seen this bottom here after we fulfilled our technical target, we were telling you the outside chance, a 3 in 10 chance of happening to pump through that fabulous glowing algebraic enticing double top. And then you would get rejected either because of the double top or you would trade sideways into this green ring and it would force you down. But we didn't even have to get to the green ring, and we topped out and we flushed back down to this $1.06 major underneath support that we were telling you. It coincides with the bottom of that green volume indicator chart. So now you see what's going on there in the XRP and the phenomenal calls and how we've been out ahead of this for you. You can see where we're at now currently, right? Move the chart over. You can see we're going to clean that little scribbly mess out that I just made when we were out in the farther out time frame. But that's another reason why you go to the far out time frames and work your way in to a super simple, easy technical analysis so you can sidestep the criminal gangster cartel to profitability and maximize your chances at a profitable trade in and out of swing trades and long-term hodl positions, right? So you can see what we got going on here now when we zoom into the 2-hour time frame. Actually, we might have to zoom in. No, I like the 2-hour. Gives you a good structure of the market, right? So you can see now what we were looking at. Put that on auto. And I'm in logarithmic. If your chart looks different than mine, I find the logarithmic. When I first started, I didn't really like it. And I got the Heikin-Ashi candles. It smoothens out the pattern more. But I find the logarithmic is really the way to go, right? It smoothens the pattern out, especially when you started from very low prices and you're at very high prices now. It gives you another perspective to look at it. But you can see now we're sitting on all these key moving averages, right? Or not the moving averages, but the support that we are at down here that we went over the last few days. If you want to know how we got from here to there and what our TA on that was, watch the prior videos as we were telling you what to watch out for, right? It's been going according to plan. And right now, we told you up in here, when you bounced off down here, that was your likely rejection point, and that would cause a lot of overhead sell pressure, and you would trade back down to the 106, and this would be your critical area. You drop back down and come all the way down into something like this, because we're forming kind of a descending channel right there, right? You've gotten rejected once, even back here twice, once, twice, 3 times, and now 4 times. So you fall back down here to get supported for the first, second, third, and even fourth if you want to draw it back there, right? You could be in some kind of descending channel. See that? As we pull some lines back, you can kind of see these have played some significance in the recent price action since the top. So you could say you're in this, which technically this could be a bullish reversal pattern, right? When it eventually breaks out of it, because it's a falling channel. And as you know, falling channels like to break to the opposite way, which would make sense. You would break up into here, hit that major green ring, and that would force you back down. You would fulfill the technical target out of that being the top of the channel, right? And then you could further crash. Or you're going to straddle this, get rejected, and flush all the way down here and just continue on into this channel. And in that case, your next major buy opportunity in XRP would be all the way down here, and you would buy it at about the 98 cents, and then you would swing trade it from 98 cents back up. Not even a big swing trade to the $1.06 overhead resistance. I am not a financial advisor, nor do I play one on my own radio show. This is strictly entertainment. Taxation trading alert. Biavians. Oka Tanzanwan. Kwayansa. Lajuan. Oni Seiwan. This is my own personal opinions on the market for education, yes. the market, right? No. My own personal opinions on the market and beliefs on where it may go based on what I'm seeing on this technical trading chart and my indicators that I use, right? So that's what I would look forward to in the XRP. And I do believe ultimately we're coming down here as the weeks and months go on and the price action matures. I do think we have to hit that 72-cent target that we've laid out for when the price was rising way back around, right? And I think this is a good spot for it to hit. November, the last couple days in November, when you come down to this green ring, or the first day of December, would be a phenomenal time for this thing to flush. And from, say, it came back up to this green ring to get everybody in here and the hype train back in, from the green ring top to the green ring bottom would be a 43.69% flush. So that's what I'm watching out for. I hope this TA gives you an advantage in the market in the upcoming few days and what to watch out for. Peace and love. Peace and love. Peace and love.